Good afternoon. Over the weekend, the world witnessed some major seismic events. Following the 7.4 quake, which struck Colombia exactly a week ago, and the devastating twin earthquakes that claimed 6,300 lives in Venezuela in late June, Indonesia and Spain also experienced two substantial quakes on Saturday. In Flores, Indonesia's National Disaster Management Agency has reported at least 68 deaths after a 7.7 magnitude earthquake struck off the island's northern coast shortly before 5 a.m. local time. Aftershocks included a magnitude 6.4 earthquake in North Sumatra, situated in western Indonesia. Authorities report extensive damage, with over 2,400 homes damaged, along with significant damage to educational facilities, hospitals, and government offices.
It is reported that thousands of people have been killed in a magnitude of 7.7 earthquake hit adjacent waters of Flores. What's China's comment? Will China provide any assistance to Indonesia? China is following the disaster in Indonesia. They express deep condolences over the lives lost in the earthquake and heartfelt sympathies to the bereaved families and the injured. China is willing to provide assistance in light of Indonesia's need.
Meanwhile, in southern Spain, a 5.2 magnitude earthquake struck the city of Granada in the early hours of Saturday morning. Residents report the quake was felt widely across much of the Andalusia region. However, thus far, 0 fatalities have been reported, with only minor injuries. Initial reports show minimal structural damage, with cracks in walls and limited damage to vehicles from fallen debris. The regional government has activated its official emergency plan at the lowest level, with local resources focused on inspecting damaged buildings, monitoring aftershocks, and coordinating all essential services.
That there is no serious structural damage, no serious material damage, and no personal injuries of any kind. That does not mean, logically, that there haven't been incidents, which I will relate to you now. But I am sharing the most important news, which is that triple circumstance regarding structures, material assets, and the health of the people. In any case, we must remain alert, and we have the advisory committee activated at all times for monitoring, evaluation, and potential response to new aftershocks that may occur. May occur. I want to convey a message of security, calm, and control, but also of awareness and the need for self-protection and an appropriate response from the public, because experts do not rule out further aftershocks of lesser initial impact than the one that already occurred. But those new aftershocks could have consequences. We have been asking, obviously, the specialists, and there was a very important meeting there led by the counselor himself. In principle, it is possible and foreseeable that there will be, seismic activity and therefore tremors that could occur in the coming days, even the coming weeks. What we ask, logically, as always, from citizens is that if they notice any tremor, they already know the manual on how to behave in case of a fire, and above all, that they be cautious in that case, right? Fortunately, despite the fact that yesterday's earthquake was an earthquake concerning due to its scale of over 5, and it generated, anguish, fear, even situations of panic, because it is normal in a situation like this, and especially when we have recently seen earthquakes as harsh as the one that occurred in Venezuela or Colombia. But fortunately, as you know, we have not had to lament, any fatalities or particularly significant damage. I also want to thank the volunteer architects, right? Within the agreement we have with the Architects Association, who work with the emergency agency, they are also going to help us to supervise, so to speak, those doubts that citizens may have, and those buildings that present some type of deficiency, to see if that deficiency is of a structural nature or if it is simply circumstantial, right?
In Colombia, the country has largely shifted from active search and rescue to debris clearance, body recovery, humanitarian aid, and early reconstruction planning. On Sunday, the National Unit for Disaster Risk Management reported 287 deaths following last week's earthquake, with 194 individuals still missing. Over 26,000 homes were destroyed in the quake, with educational facilities, community areas, and health centers also significantly damaged. Colombian President Abelardo de la Espriel has provided an update on the latest reconstruction plans.
We have arranged with the Minister of Health the allocation of resources for the equipment of the oncology unit at the Evaristo Garcia University Hospital of the Valley. Through Resolution 1080 of the 26th for 4,386 million pesos. We have also determined the support in financing the reconstruction of the San Rafael Hospital in the municipality of Alaguila. And as a third point, we have also decided to earmark an allocation of resources for the leasing of infrastructure that facilitates the provision of services at the Evaristo Garcia University Hospital of the Valley. This hospital is a symbol of Colombia. It's a hospital that has been successful in its management, that has delivered results, that has made profits, and that represents that passion of our doctors, of our system, which, despite adversity, moves forward. Therefore, we are going to dedicate all the efforts and resources that are necessary to fully recover this hospital, which today, due to this tragedy, is seriously affected and also faces a substantial decrease in available beds, in such a way that we will do everything within our reach from the national government, in union with the Governor's Office of the Valley, to move this hospital forward, which is a symbol of Colombia and a symbol of our health system. We are firm with health and firm with our country. This government is focused on addressing this tragedy in the best way possible and providing solutions to Cali, the Valle del Cauca, and the entire Southwest. Solutions that are needed, and that, with God's help and the willingness that characterizes this government, we will achieve. Thank you very much, and may God bless the Valle del Cauca and its people.
Islanders breathed a sigh of relief this weekend as Hurricane Lala passed the main island of Hawaii without making landfall. Its passage south of the Big Island did, however, bring heavy rainfall, flash floods, mudslides, and strong winds of up to 161 kilometers per hour. Widespread power outages impacted over 130,000 consumers, and at least one casualty has been reported. Early on Sunday, Lala was downgraded to a tropical storm, moving farther into the open Central Pacific.
Hello everyone. Most of the storm has passed, but as you can see, it's raining. This is a shot here on Oahu. Big Island got hit really hard. It was hurricane force winds for Hurricane Lala when it came through the southern part of the Big Island, and then it became a tropical storm again as it came through the rest of our state. Hopefully by later this afternoon, it'll be just beyond us, but it did cause harm. We lost over 100 homes on Big Island. Several of the bridges are badly damaged. Nale, whose schools are affected, schools in Pahala. There's a lot of damage that we'll be working on. But my thanks are to everyone, first responders, Haima, all the people out there that helped save one another. You know, we got 28 inches of rain in some places. That meant that major roads collapsed. We have landslides all over the place, but amazingly, we believe there's either been no loss of life or maybe one tragic accident that might have been caused by this rainfall and wind. Again, the winds came through at about 70 miles per hour. That is a tropical force storm, and we are just thankful for all the prayers and the help from everyone. You know, the mainland watches us, and we do stand it up together. So Big Island got hit the worst. Lots of water and rain on Maui. Also, you're now seeing some damage to the roads here and trees down everywhere.
Stay connected to our Love World Network channels as we continue to bring you the latest. And now moving on to more international developments. Holding governments accountable, free speech advocate and owner of social media platform X, Elon Musk, announced on Saturday that any government-required censorship is now publicly visible. X open-sourced the code that powers the For You feed on GitHub, including the systemic filters governments force the platform to apply. Earlier this year, Musk explained the goal: to give people confidence that X isn't secretly manipulating the recommendations. It is critical that the platform open source anything that influences what people are shown. The move drew strong support online, with users calling it a major transparency win, and one noting that the world needs visibility into what information governments try to suppress. And in what citizens are hailing as a major victory for free speech, France's Constitutional Council has struck down legislation that would have banned children under the age of 15 from accessing social media. The law, passed by Parliament in July and strongly backed by French President Emmanuel Macron, was thrown out after the council ruled that it disproportionately restricted freedom of expression and communication for young people and failed to provide proper legal safeguards for privacy. Now we'll be right back after this short break. Stay tuned for more international developments.
Feasting on messages from the Pastor Chris Digital Library just got more exciting. Experience the transformative power of God's Word like never before, with life-changing teachings by the man of God, Pastor Chris, on the Pastor Chris Digital Library, now available in all of the most widely spoken languages of the world. Dutch,
Christus in jou, de hoop van glorie. Vanaf dat moment, wanneer Christus zijn intrek neemt in de kamers van jouw hart.
Spanish,
Vamos a usar el nombre de Jesús. Expulsar demonios.
French,
Je pourrais vous montrer plusieurs autres domaines importants dans la Bible.
Arabic,
لا يمكنك تمجيد الله بجسد مريض.
Mandarin,
白衣的人站在他们旁边，当耶稣升天，两个天使出现在门徒注视耶稣的升天。
Russian,
Вот почему вокруг так много убийств. В мире так много насилия в мире.
German,
Tat es in Christus. Das habe ich gerade gelesen.
In Christus Jesus.
Tat es in Christus.
You can now access these powerful teachings culled from the Healing Stream's live healing services with Pastor Chris, with titles such as Who is in Your House? Where is Jesus? What is the Purpose of Healing? Knowing God's Plan for You, Part 1 and 2. Why did Jesus come? Using the name of Jesus. He has given us His glory, the benediction, and others in your preferred language, making it easier to understand, receive, and walk in the light of the Word. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Subscribe to access these messages in your preferred language and experience the miraculous. Download the Pastor Chris Digital Library app today from the Love World App Store at
www.loveworldappstore.com.
Pastor Chris Digital Library, a place of solutions.
Over in the UK, it appears the Labour government remains set on pushing the mass migration agenda. Member of Parliament Rupert Lowe revealed on Sunday that the Home Office is offering tenders under the Future Asylum Contracts Transformation Programme to provide so-called asylum seekers with accommodation, transportation, food, security, and additional support. The contracts are only set to commence September 1st, 2029, and are expected to run until August 31st, 2036, with a possible 3-year extension. As a result, Lowe warned that illegal migrants are going to keep coming to British shores, and that the Burnham government is planning to accommodate them.
Now, I urge everybody to look at the post we've just put out. It will make your blood boil. It continues a theme which I've seen on the Public Accounts Committee when we looked at the contract for the Bibi Stockholm, where these economic migrants are being given better dental treatment, better medical treatment, put at the top of housing lists. And these are people who've come here illegally. A lot of them now are living here illegally, and yet they are treated better than the people who have paid taxes, have contributed to the history of Britain, who basically live here and have lived here for the whole of their lives, and many of their ancestors have fought in world wars against the French and the Germans and just about everybody else. But for some reason, we seem to have this bizarre group of people leading the country who think it's okay to put these people ahead of those people who have paid their taxes, lived honestly, and done their bit for the country. I don't agree with that, and a Restore Britain government, I can absolutely assure everybody, will detain and deport people arriving illegally, will deport those people living here illegally. We will deport all foreign criminals in our prisons, and equally, we will also turn our attention to those people living here on benefits.
South Korea's President Lee Jae-myung has proposed an official end to the Korean War, which concluded in a military ceasefire on July 27, 1953, with the signing of an armistice. With no formal peace agreement, the two opposing nations technically remain at war. Lee stated that perhaps through this, it may also be possible to halt the advancement of North Korea's nuclear capabilities. His proposal follows North Korea's denouncement last week of planned US-South Korea military drills scheduled to commence today. It also comes amid growing US-North Korea ties, with President Donald Trump announcing over the weekend a significant reduction in the size and scale of the drills, citing his very good relationship with Pyongyang President Kim Jong-un.
안정적 평화 공존입니다. 긴장과 갈등을 통제할 제도, 위기와 확전 방지를 위한 여러 겹의 안전장치를 반드시 마련해야 합니다. 전쟁을 종식하고 한반도의 불안정한 정전체제를 평화체제로 바꾸는 여정에 나설 것입니다. 서로에 대한 상호 위협 의사를 내려놓고 아주 오래된 전쟁을 끝내기 위한 당사자들 간의 논의를 시작합시다. 북의 핵능력 고도화를 멈출 실효적 방안도 논의될 수 있을 것입니다. 적대와 대결에 갇힌 대한민국의 모습은 우리 국민의 잠재력과 역동성을 실현하는 데 결코 걸맞지 않습니다. 그렇게 한층 두터운 신뢰 위에서 가깝고도 먼 이웃이 아니라 가깝고도 또 가까운 이웃으로서 평화와 번영의 새로운 60년을 함께 열어갈 수 있기를 기대합니다.
Stay tuned for more international developments, and we'll be right back after this short break. Never mind, we will continue. Russia and Ukraine traded heavy drone and missile strikes over the weekend. Ukraine's Air Force reported that Russia launched 152 drones and loitering munitions overnight Friday, with Ukrainian defenses claiming 127 shot down and hits recorded at 16 locations. Russian strikes continued Saturday evening, striking 13 sites, as Ukraine said it intercepted or jammed 88 drones and missiles. Ukraine, however, sharply escalated overnight on Saturday. Russia's defense ministry reported it destroyed 822 Ukrainian fixed-wing drones in one of the largest waves of the war. Among the targets hit was a major Wildberries logistics hub in Kolodino, just south of Moscow, one of the retailer's largest warehouses and a repeated focus of Ukraine's recent campaign against the Russian e-commerce giant. And now shifting focus to the Middle East, US Central Command has addressed recent rumors regarding the deployment of the USS Abraham Lincoln to the region. Media reports claimed a sudden spike in suicidal ideations among troops, with claims that service members attempted to jump overboard. However, CENTCOM corrected the matter, noting that the sailors and Marines on the carrier strike group remain resilient and resolved after more than 260 days at sea, adding that the only incident was a sailor who fell overboard on August 3rd, but was swiftly recovered. President Trump addressed the matter in a gaggle with the press over the weekend.
Members of U.S. service members are concerned about the conditions on board the USS Lincoln.
No, that ship is moving. No, they're not. That ship is moving right now, or very shortly, and it's being replaced with another very similar ship.
Has the deployment's gone on too long? Are you worried about the mental health concerns?
Not nearly long enough. Thank you, everybody.
Let's take a recap of today's headline. 68 people have been killed after a major 7.7 earthquake struck Flores, Indonesia.
As following the disaster in Indonesia, they express deep condolences over the lives lost in the earthquake and heartfelt sympathies to the bereaved families and the injured. China is willing to provide assistance in light of Indonesia's need.
X open sources For You algorithm, exposing government censorship requirements to the public. Top French court blocks government social media ban for under 15s. And lastly, UK MP sounds the alarm on Burnham government's mass migration plan. And that's a wrap for your midday news updates. From myself, Marika Schroeder, and the team here in Cape Town, thank you for tuning in to Allen 24 International. Until next time, goodbye.